on advocacy against COVID-19 commends Delta Broadcasting Service for quality service delivery. Correspondent files special reports on benefits of fruits and vegetables against virus. Federal government says all schools nationwide remain shut. Plus, wife of Delta State Governor marks birthday with visits to correctional service inmates. Good evening and welcome to the drtv main news. I am Ifoma Nkemacho. The State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Charles Anyagu, says he was satisfied with the level of work and service of Delta Broadcasting Service DBS Warri. Mr. Anyagu paid an unscheduled visit to the DBS Warri station shortly after he held media briefing with NUJ correspondent Chapels in Warri. However, urged management and staff of the station to focus their attention on revenue generation to aid its operations. The reports.
The Information Commissioner, Mr. Charles Anyagu, who inspected the television and radio studios of the DBS Warri station, as well as the station's recording studio, noted that although the station is still work in progress, kudos should be given to the Acting General Manager of DBS Warri, Pastor Malcolm Uteri, and entire staff of the station for the proactive steps taken to improve on the picture and audio signal qualities. Mr. Anyagu urged management of DBS Warri to channel their expertise to areas that would yield income to the station, stressing that airtime of the station should be strictly paid for. The Information Commissioner equally promised government's continuous support for the good of the station.
All the challenges that he has mentioned will require funds. As a government, we will look inwards to see how we can meet them halfway. Don't forget that the government, particularly the issue of a salary. And so the workers here need to also take advantage of the leverage you have given to them. I have directed that on no account should they begin to take free adverts from people. They should charge people money for adverts, except if it is news and pure news. The moment it's not news and it's publicity, they should go and make money out of it so that they can afford to also keep this place running. For every minute you're on air, you are paying for either the NEPA bill or you're buying diesel to keep yourself on air, to keep the station on air. The only product they sell here is airtime.
Of DBS Warri, Pastor Malcolm Uteri conducted the Information Commissioner around facilities of the station, railing out some of the challenges facing the station. The Chief Press Secretary to Governor Ifeanyi, Mr. Olisa Ifejika, accompanied the Information Commissioner on the visit.
Practitioners in Delta State have been urged to use their profession to deepen the advocacy of the coronavirus pandemic. Delta State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Charles Anyagu, made a call at a media briefing attended by the Nigerian Union of Journalists Correspondents Chapel in Warri. The reports.
The State Information Commissioner at the media briefing explained that it was necessary for journalists to sensitize the people in order for them to have enough awareness of the dangers of the coronavirus. He explained further that the state government had made significant efforts to limit the spread of the coronavirus from one person to the other, adding that measures put in place like the wearing of face masks, observance of social distancing and other precautions were not to wish hunt the people but for the good of the citizens. Mr. Anyagu, who said the goal of the state government was targeted at the upliftment of the people, stated that the government is doing everything possible to ensure that Delta State does not record any more cases and sued for the cooperation.
And for us to win that war, we need that cooperation of our people for us to ensure that we keep COVID-19 out of our state and by extension our country. We have also before now informed you that in spite of the enormous challenges that government is going through on account of the dwindling fortunes of the price of oil in the international market, that we have kept faith with the promises of building a stronger Delta.
On the newly constituted security outfit called Operation Delta Hawk, Mr. Anyagu stated that the initiative was not to undermine the proposed South-South region security outfit agreed by governors from the South-South region, but to collaborate to nip in the bud security lapses. The Information Commissioner disclosed that more infrastructural projects would also be constructed across the state. The media briefing featured questions and answer session.
Nigeria has recorded 307 new coronavirus cases. The total number of the virus, as confirmed by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, is 10,162 cases. The figure released by the NCDC on its website shows that Lagos recorded 188, while the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, follows with 44 cases. Deaths from the virus so far recorded in Nigeria is 287, while 3,007 patients have been discharged. Ogun has 19, Kaduna 14, Oyo 12, Bayelsa 9, Gombe 5, Delta and Kano recorded 3 cases each. Imo, Rivers, Niger and Bauchi recorded 2 cases each, while Plateau and Kwara states has a case each. State governments, religious and community leaders will be responsible for the next phase of the battle against coronavirus. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Bas Mustafa, said this became necessary because Nigeria is presently experiencing community infection. Mustafa, who is the Secretary to Government of the Federation, stated this shortly after he and members of the task force met President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The SGF explains that to go further in the fight against the virus, the federal government will only provide supervision and coordination. He stated further that ownership of the eradicate the virus is now the responsibility of the states because it has gone into the stage of community transmission. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 added that local government, religious and traditional institutions will be fully involved to check the spread of the virus, noting that the virus is now in the communities. The federal government has declared that all schools in Nigeria will remain shut. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 disclosed this on Monday. The government explains that it is better to remain cautious as far as schools are concerned, adding that the decision followed expert advice. Meanwhile, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has asked the aviation industry to develop protocols for the resumption of domestic flights, noting that possible resumption date for the resumption of flights is June 21, 2020. The presidential statement further says that all interstate movements remain banned, as only haulage of goods and essential travelers are permitted to move. Meanwhile, the federal government has readjusted the nationwide curfew hours of the virus pandemic. The government temporarily relaxed the nationwide curfew, which is currently from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. The president reviewed the curfew and said it will now be 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. with effects from Tuesday, June 2. The federal government has also approved new working hours for banks and civil servants. Banks nationwide will resume normal working hours. The Presidential Task Force, through its chairman, briefed President Muhammadu Buhari and said the second phase of the ease lockdown would be in place for 4 weeks. He also ordered civil servants to work from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday for workers on grade level 14 and above, both for federal and state civil service. A survivor of the deadly COVID-19, Chief Austin Erotopopo, who was on Monday at Delta State Teaching Hospital, Ogara, to appreciate the medical personnel for their efforts that led to his recovery. Correspondent John Glover files on the reports.